ServiceNow, Tempus AI, and Palantir may be standing at the center of the next major shift in artificial intelligence. Hear me out. The first AI boom rewarded the companies that were building the chips, the data centers, and the power. We've heard this before. But the next wave could reward the software companies that own the digital expertise that's needed to replace or dramatically improve some of the world's most expensive professional work. So the AI bubble may actually not be bursting at all. It may actually just be moving from the builders to the owners. And if that happens, the biggest winners may be the companies that turn general intelligence into real decisions inside healthcare, government, and global business. Well, in this video, you're going to learn what's driving the shift from general AI to specialist AI, why proprietary data could become the most valuable moat in software, and how that shift could affect all three stocks from here. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Rick Orford. I'm a Wall Street Journal bestselling author, been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor. But that's a good thing, because I'm right here with you, breaking down the numbers so retail investors like us can make smarter, more confident decisions with our money. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/Ricko to get your 10 stock picks right now. Okay, so the first wave rewarded the companies building the infrastructure behind modern AI. But now the opportunity I see perhaps changing or shifting towards software companies that turn that computing power into measurable business outcomes. General AI, it can answer questions, right? Summarizes information and creates content. But specialist AI, it goes much further. It performs regulated, industry-specific work inside proprietary systems. And that brings me to one of the most important ideas in this entire video: digital expertise. Digital expertise is the combination of proprietary workflows, institutional knowledge, and industry-specific data that allows AI to perform valuable work inside a real organization. And that's why companies like ServiceNow, Tempus AI, and Palantir stand apart. ServiceNow automates enterprise workflows. Tempus AI applies clinical intelligence to oncology. Palantir connects artificial intelligence with operational decisions across commercial and defense organizations. Neither of these are selling another chatbot. They're actually building systems that can perform pieces of expensive, high-value professional work. And as artificial intelligence moves from generating information to completing work, that investment question changes. It's no longer about who builds the most powerful model. It's about who owns the expertise that model needs to become useful. Now, the next phase of artificial intelligence probably won't be won by simply building a larger language model. I say it could be won by the companies that combine AI with proprietary data accumulated through years of operating inside specialized industries. General purpose models, they can summarize broad information really well, but they don't automatically possess the private workflows, the historical decisions, or the operational knowledge that's stored inside those enterprise systems. And much of that information is already protected by contracts, regulations, and security controls. That proprietary context is what allows specialist AI to produce decisions that are relevant, auditable, and actionable. So when I say auditable, I mean the organization can actually trace how a decision was made, check the underlying information, and determine whether the process followed the proper rules. Now, speed alone obviously isn't going to be enough. A legal department, a hospital, or a defense organization needs answers that fits its rules, its data, and real-world responsibilities. The competitive advantage therefore begins to shift away from owning the broadest AI model and towards controlling the environment where artificial intelligence is performing this valuable work. ServiceNow, on the other hand, they're deeply embedded in enterprise workflows. Tempus AI has built a differentiated oncology data ecosystem, and Palantir connects fragmented operational data across government, defense, and commercial organizations. So together, these three companies just prove why proprietary data and embedded workflows could one day create a stronger moat rather than model performance alone. Now, before I go any deeper, I wanted to give a shout out to my investing community. It's one of the fastest growing communities on YouTube. We talk about specific companies, what they're doing, investing ideas, and even options trading. Now, it's completely free to join. Just scan the QR code on the screen or check for the link in the description. Now, going back, the opportunity here isn't just better software. It's a new business model that's built around the software that's doing the work itself. Now, the economic replacement era becomes easier to understand when I look at how these three companies apply artificial intelligence. And more than 100 billion workflows already run through ServiceNow, their platform, every year. That gives the company enormous operational context for coordinating complex business processes. And because ServiceNow is already embedded inside many large organizations, replacing it is expensive, disruptive, and risky. And that makes customers less likely to switch. Now, let's talk about Tempus AI. They're applying the same specialist approach to healthcare. The company combines clinical, molecular, and imaging data to create a broader view of the patient and the disease. So when I say multimodal data, I mean several different types of medical information being analyzed together rather than in isolation. As Tempus processes more tests and gains access to more permissioned clinical data, its dataset can become richer and improve future clinical and research insights. What does that do? Well, it creates a potential feedback loop. More testing produces more data, and more data improves the system, and a stronger system becomes more valuable to doctors, researchers, and pharmaceutical partners. Now, Palantir applies this specialist AI idea to operational decision-making. Its AIP, or artificial intelligence platform, connects AI with military, government, and commercial operations inside secure environments. And Titan is an AI-enabled U.S. Army intelligence ground station designed for military operations. So Palantir isn't trying to function as another general-purpose chatbot. No, it's connecting fragmented information with real-world industrial and defense decisions. That's digital expertise, because the value comes from the model operating inside that secure system with the right data, the right permissions, and the right operational context. Now, all three of these companies point towards a broader shift in enterprise software. For years, traditional software companies primarily charged customers based on the number of human users through software as a service, or SaaS. So instead of buying software once, customers pay recurring fees to keep using it. But specialized AI, well, this uses a very different economic model. Software can increasingly perform work on behalf of those users, and that means providers may be able to charge for AI usage, automated workflows, or measurable business outcomes instead of relying only on selling seats. I mean, businesses aren't really paying for the dashboards or the menus. They're paying for the completed work. If AI helps a company resolve more service requests, review more documents, or make faster decisions, well, the software provider can capture more of the value that's created. The bigger question, though, of course, is whether those savings are big enough to change corporate spending. The economics make the answer easier to see. I'll give you an example. Consider a company that's spending $10 million each year on consultants, analysts, and compliance personnel. If specialist AI automates 40% of those responsibilities and those productivity gains translate into an equivalent reduction in labor hours or outside professional services spending, the company could theoretically save about $4 million. Now, assume the business spends $1 million on AI software, implementation, and ongoing usage. Well, that means the company could still save roughly $3 million each year. That's the economic argument. The customer lowers costs, the software provider earns recurring revenue, and the system becomes more valuable as adoption expands. The transition, though, will probably begin through augmentation rather than full replacement. Augmentation just means that AI will help smaller teams accomplish more work instead of immediately eliminating an entire profession. Specialist AI can help teams process more information, they can make faster decisions, and they can complete more work with fewer labor hours. And this is exactly where the $15 trillion revenue shift begins to matter. The opportunity isn't based on AI writing better poems or faster summaries. It's based on artificial intelligence taking over portions of expensive professional workflows. That is how the AI economy could move from selling tools to selling digital labor. And the latest earnings suggest that transition may already be underway. ServiceNow increased its first quarter 2026 revenue by 22% year over year. Subscription revenue also grew 22%. Remaining performance obligations reached about $28 billion. So RPOs, these represent contracted revenue that hasn't yet been recognized. That gives investors a view of future business that's already under agreement. The number of Now Assist customers spending more than $1 million in annual contract value has increased by more than 130%. This just proves that ServiceNow's AI products are gaining traction with large enterprise customers. Now, Tempus AI, they reported 36% revenue growth. Its higher margin data and application segment expanded faster than diagnostics, driven by growth in data licensing and modeling. So higher margin revenue leaves more money after the direct cost of delivering the product. And that matters because software and data can scale differently from diagnostic testing. Palantir, though, they delivered the strongest acceleration of this group of three. The company reported 85% total revenue growth, 104% US revenue growth, and 133% US commercial revenue growth. Those numbers just highlight rising demand for operational AI across government and enterprise customers. Still, infrastructure companies aren't becoming irrelevant, right? Chips, data centers, computing systems, they all make modern AI possible. Broad AI models still provide the general intelligence, but software companies, they may increasingly own the digital expertise that's needed to turn that intelligence into completed work. Now, if you've been watching either of these companies, but think right now when you're watching this video, you think either of them is too expensive. If that's the case, check this video up here, because I talk about how you can sell a put option on a stock you want to own and get paid to wait for it to potentially come down to your price. Then, if the shares fall to your chosen price, you get to own the stock and you are paid to wait. Then, once you understand the business, you can decide whether the strategy fits your own risk tolerance. So, I'm sure by now you want to know what my take is after looking all three of these companies. Well, if the investment narrative shifts from building artificial intelligence to owning the expertise that AI depends on, well, software companies and proprietary data and embedded workflows, they could capture a growing share of long-term value creation. Among the three, ServiceNow is my favorite. And not because I've owned the shares for years, but I say it offers the strongest balance of execution, recurring revenue, and commercial maturity. Its installed enterprise footprint gives it a practical path for monetizing AI at scale while limiting many of the adoption risks that face earlier stage competitors. But Palantir, it arguably offers the greatest upside. Its software is becoming increasingly central to government and enterprise decision-making. But that opportunity comes with higher expectations and less room for operational mistakes. But then we've got Tempus AI. This is probably the more speculative name out of the three. It possesses one of the most durable long-term moats if its oncology data ecosystem continues to compound through more patients, partnerships, and AI-driven discoveries. So the biggest winner may not be the one that builds smartest general model may actually control the digital expertise that those models can't easily copy. And that's the core of the economic replacement era. The builders created the infrastructure, the models created the intelligence, but the owners of the specialist software, they may be the ones creating the digital workforce. But now I want to turn it over to you. Do you think the next AI bull run will be led by software owners rather than the chip makers? And which of these three companies do you think has the strongest moat for the economic replacement era? And before I go, did I get any of this right? Did I forget something? Let me know all of that and more in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really does help others find the video, it supports the channel, and it makes sure that you don't miss out on my next deep dive. Well, that's it for me today. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time or in my community. Bye for now.